I always get the urge to start filming exactly at this spot. I don't know what it is, you know? Good afternoon, my darlings. I'm taking my walk today. Yesterday, I attempted to take a long walk, and 20 minutes in, I gave up, and I sat down in the shade, and that was the end of that. Today, I almost did the same thing, but I pushed myself because it's important, right? I hope you're getting your exercise one way or another. It's very, very important every day to, get some movement. Anyway, so what's this one about? So this one is about censorship. I just watched Murad Morales' video on YouTube. He's a British YouTuber, and he was talking about the fact that one or more of his videos was recently copyrighted by YouTube, which means that it's been demonetized. He cannot receive, money from it because someone has claimed a copyright violation of that material. And the same thing happened to me today. I was quite stunned because the only reason I've been using these videos and media is because of the fair use laws, which my understanding is if you're using the work for commentary or for scholarship, for news, journalism, parody, things like that, as a general rule, that's a fair use exception to the copyright laws, which in my About Us page, I make very clear that, the material that I use that is not mine is being used under the fair use exception to the copyright laws. But apparently those don't apply to this situation. If you're talking about the royal family and you are referring to certain media in particular, such as the Daily Mail and its ilk, then you could get a copyright strike from YouTube. I thought, first of all, YouTube was an American company. I could be wrong. I really don't know much about it. But I would imagine that if they are American, that they would be subject to American law, which does have a fair use exception to the copyright law. So I'm not understanding, honestly, where I went wrong. I've heard people talk about a timing issue, so that they allow you to use a video for a certain amount of time, maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that's it, if it was too long or what. But my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong if you are a lawyer or someone who's been in this game for a while, my understanding is that as a YouTuber and someone who engages in commentary and in analysis, news / journalism. I'm not calling myself a journalist by any means, but if some of these people in England in particular are calling themselves journalists, then I don't see why I can't call myself a journalist as well, right? Because I'm sharing news, right? Direct from news sources, commenting on that, analyzing that, researching that, etc. Sometimes parodying that, right? So to me, that should clearly be an exception and clearly falls under fair use, which is something that I think, lawyers should look into, because, lawyers in the field, who know what they're talking about, free speech, fair use, First Amendment, etc. Because we can't have, powerful people censoring the little people just because they can, or intimidating, companies like YouTube into doing their bidding either. Either you censor them or there's going to be an impact on your bottom line and your revenues in the UK, because we'll just block you from operating in the UK. If YouTube is up against that versus allowing a YouTuber to, play copyrighted material or show copyrighted material under the fair use exception to the copyright laws, I think my hunch is that they're going to censor the material, censor the YouTuber, And I don't think that's right. And I think that unless the U.S. government steps in, the Congress, the legislative body, with some rules about, what rights people have when they are commenting on news sources on YouTube specifically, unless they do that, YouTube is going to side with powerful forces like the British government, because, they need a way out. They need a way out to say, look, our hands are tied. This is the law. Could the British government and others censor YouTube completely? I mean, can the U.S. censor TikTok completely? Isn't the U.S. trying to block TikTok in America completely for whatever reason? I have no idea. I haven't been following because I'm not on TikTok. I'm not affected by it. And I do have enough on my plate. But the point being, I think the answer is yes. Any government can do anything at any time. They just need to find an explanation. And that's why they pay people the big bucks to come up with an explanation for their actions. Even the French government has its own special rules for Google and things like that where privacy is concerned. Any government can do anything. So, YouTube, I think, would censor YouTubers in a second to avoid problems with regimes like the UK, right? But that said, I do believe, because I did get a warning shot before where someone left a comment, be careful with that video or something like that, and I said, that's fair use. And my suspicion is it came from the same source. And then YouTube copyrighted the video, right? So I did go in and I tried to adjust the video, but I don't think I should have had to do that because, again, I think it falls under the fair use exception, clearly, right? Anyway, it's one good reason for me to avoid the UK press anyway. Because ultimately, I mean, it's an unhealthy environment, isn't it? So let them keep their press to themselves, to their people, to those who want to consume that bile on a daily basis and get news from other sources. I think that's going to have to be the response. And the less that people like myself and other YouTubers give any credence to that type of press, is the quicker they die, because they won't have, in the end, YouTubers like myself drive traffic to these news sources, by citing them. Viewers would go directly to the websites and consume the media in completeness on those specific websites. So by censoring people like myself and others, what you will have is less traffic to these sources. And they've also, I noticed that Daily Mail also went behind some kind of paywall or sign up. How would you put it? You have to subscribe. So it's like a subscriber wall or email, whatever. You have to give them your email to consume the material. So they're getting tighter with their material. And I think that's because of people like myself who are, dissecting what they're talking about word for word. They want their propaganda to be limited to those they want to agree with them. And that's fine. That's their right. I think, however, that what they will find eventually is that they will perish. They're going to die, because news, I think, needs to be free, and it needs to be shared freely in order to build virality, in order to, build a real audience, right? And YouTubers like myself end up giving them free publicity for their media, for their articles and their videos. And they get more traffic because of that. So when they censor us, it sucks, yes, for us, but for them, they will just go the same way as, say, GB News and, what was it? Where was Piers Morgan? I don't even know. Is it ITV or whatever? Good Morning Britain, whatever. I don't even know. They end up in the same burial ground eventually, okay? Because they just have less and less traffic. And actually, if you really want to know the truth, that's what they deserve. Anyway, my darlings, I'm walking up a storm. So, see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.